hey, this guy who told his mom that I'm depressed. And then the mom came back later, like, hey, multi depression.
Your depression, you. Because you're I think,
Yeah, so,
I think they see that stigma.
Zim Tech community. Zim Tech community. Zim Tech community.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the Zim Tech Podcast, a space for techies to learn, share, and collaborate. Today, on our very first episode, we'll be talking about mental health and depression. To discuss this, I'm joined by Mr. George Chakama, developer, self-proclaimed developer president. Hi, George. Can you just introduce yourself?
hey, what's up, everybody? George come over here. Yeah, I'm not a self-proclaimed president, man. I'm the president of the people, man. The people chose me, and yeah, 2030, 20 report.
No, no, it's cool. Is self-proclaimed vice president. I'm looking to take over that throne. Anyways, George, earlier this week you shared a video where you were talking about how you deal with depression, right? And the title was very provocative. It was "I'm depressed," and I think it's something that a lot of developers don't openly discuss. So
Yeah.
yeah, can you just tell us more about that? Like, what really encouraged you to post that video? Whatever space were you in, and what were you really hoping to do with that video? Because it was very provocative.
Cool. So, with the topic, it's something that I mean, I'm quite open about it. With how me, I've been depressed for some time and how I deal with it. But I haven't actually made like a comment or I mean a video to release for people to understand how you can deal with it and how you can go about it. And the reason why I had to put it out there is I've seen a lot of people coming through, just to join as developers and stuff like that, and the industry is growing rapidly. And as it's growing rapidly, you meet people when you do tech meetups and stuff, and you talk to people. You can tell someone is depressed, someone is stressed because they're asking you questions that, like, "Yo, I have a tight deadline. I'm struggling. I've work I was given. I don't know how to do it, how to express it. Like, I'm feeling burned out. That kind of thing." So I was like, actually, I think it's about time that we bring this topic to the table. So that we can start talking about it, discussing it, and just seeing, how best we can help each other as developers.
Ah, that's great, man. I think WHO estimates that about 280 million people suffer from depression, right? And I
Mm,
think that number is understated. And I think when it comes to techies, there are way more of us.
yeah.
Just by the nature of the profession, it's something that's very, very technical, very, very demanding.
Mm,
So I think it affects way, way more of us.
bro.
Yeah, so I think this just talking about it because you're saying you're depressed, right? I look at
Yeah.
myself and every once in a while I'm depressed. I suffer from burnout, stress
Mm,
from deadlines and whatnot. So yeah,
yeah. But I'm just curious, man, like, because with the number that who states, I mean, it's accommodating for everyone in different industries, right? But I wish, like, with Stack Overflow, they could do the same thing. When they do their yearly developer survey,
yeah,
and then they can release to say, what, how many developers are feeling stressed at their workplaces and stuff like that. And with that, if they do that, it encourages people to open up more, because people will be admitting to say, what, I am actually depressed. Because most of the big problem when it comes to depression is people not wanting to admit that they're depressed.
yeah. But do developers admit they're depressed? I think an easy way to solve it, right,
Yeah.
is just to look at like a developer's worker time. If it is like more than 6 hours a day, if it is more than 6 hours a day, that person
Yeah.
is a candidate for depression. Because I always look at George every
Yeah.
week. I get that email from whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, this week you did like 30 hours, right? Well done. Then you see
Yeah.
there's someone who did 60 hours of whatever. And I'm like, guys, do you not have like time to just breathe
What's
and
going on, bro? Like, yeah, you saying that I'm gonna have to reach out to Ngoni
yeah.
and
God
yeah,
is
and
always
like
number one.
because
We
yeah,
need
I don't
to
know,
like
man.
invite him on and be like, okay, how are you coping with like 8, 9, 10 hours a day of coding?
bruh. You know what's weird now is recently I've been playing Call of Duty with Ngoni,
Yeah.
and I'm still curious. Like, okay, this guy will find time to also like play games and stuff, but also sometimes you'll be working, and I'm just like, how are you doing it, bro? Like, yeah, yeah, we need to
Um,
bring him, man.
I think that's like an interesting thing you bring up, right? Because there's the myth of the 10x developer, right? That guy who codes
Yeah.
like 10, 12 hours a day, still has a social life, does gaming and
Mm,
whatnot, right? And like still balances everything. And I think the
yeah.
problem is like when a lot of people are sold into tech, right? Like when you're still like in high school, and they're like, no, you can be like Bill Gates, you can be like this, right? You're always
Mm,
sold that myth of like, okay, this super nerdy guy are the guys who are winning in tech. And the problem is, I
yeah.
think most people when they jump into tech, right, they want to be that 10x developer, and we're not all the 10x developer, right? I
Mm,
code 3 hours a day. I used to get paid to code 3 hours a day, and it's fine, right?
yeah.
I've realized if I try to code more than 6 hours a day, I get burnout. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's another thing when we're like doing with mental health, right? You need to know your limits. You need to know, okay, I can code 5 hours a day
Mm.
and be okay, right? Then after 5 hours, what do I do next? Do I go to gaming? Do I listen to music? Do I go out running? I run, right? And that works for me, right?
But the problem, Mike, when you get zoned in, right?
Yeah,
That feeling where you are working and then like, okay, look, you spend like 3 hours working on something.
yeah. Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, okay. Can you hear me? I think it dropped a bit. Yeah, I was saying that, like you would spend like 3 hours, just working on something, but it's not clicking, right? And in the last 2 hours, you are zoned in now. It's not working fine. You're now productive, but then that 5 hour mark comes through that you've set for yourself to say, you know what, I should only do 5 hours. What are you gonna do about that now?
No, like I think there's a difference, right? There are
Mm,
times where you're like zoned in, right? When you're zoned in,
yeah.
it's one of two things, right? It's either you can work for the whole day and feel nothing because like you're in the
Mhm.
zone, right? You
Yeah,
can work on like three different projects, shifting and everything just works, right? Or
yeah,
you're gonna like solve all your problems in 30 minutes and you're done. You're like, no, like
yeah.
I've done all my tasks for the day. 30 minutes, you're done, right? So
Mhm.
you need to know which is which.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to
I
know
think also.
okay, 30 minutes, I'm done for the day, right? Okay, let me do other things.
Hmm. And also, you know what helps? I feel like most devs don't do this when you structure your work, because I started doing it some time back where I take one task and then I break it into several tasks, right? Like, let's say, for example, I want to build like a simple website.
Yeah,
I'll break down the design, the structure, whatever kind of thing. That way, when you're measuring yourself, even after like 5 hours, you can still see the progress you've done to say, okay, look, on this small task that I had, I've completed about, let's say, 6 out of 10 things. That can give you like a sense of achievement to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, let me close the laptop because I've actually worked. But if you're not measuring, you're just measuring using one task. When the 5 hours come, right, you'd feel like you didn't do anything, and you'd be like, "Ish, I need to keep finishing this. I need to finish this." It's because you're not quite measuring like your progress, you know.
yeah, true. I think I actually dealt with this like with the recent project, and I had to like
Mm,
collaborate on another developer, right? And the problem
yeah.
is this developer, like his work fed into my work, right? And he would be like, "No, I'll give you when everything is done," right?
Mm,
And it would
yeah.
take like way longer. If he estimated 2 days, I know he would be done in 4 days, right? Because he's trying to do like one whole chunk, right? And for me,
Mm,
like the way I always work, right? Like beginning of the day, I'm like, okay, here's what I need to do, right? How much of this can I accomplish today, or how much can I accomplish like during my morning session, right? Then I break it down, right?
yeah.
Okay, this. So from like 8 to 10, I'm just working on this alone, right? If I do that and I accomplish that from 8 to 10, I've done a great job. I can take a break, watch like go on YouTube for like 30 minutes, right? Or call a friend or whatnot, right? Then go back to work. And I feel like that's
Exactly.
very, very important. Like just putting your work into chunks. Like, okay, let me do this right now. Let me even measuring progress because like at the end of the week, right? You're like, okay, this week I was also supposed to do this. How much have I actually accomplished? 40%, that's
Ex-
good enough. Yeah.
exactly. At least if you put it in chunks, that really helps out a lot, man.
You actually remind me of the that app you once did, the Pomodoro timer.
Mm.
Do you remember? Is it now on the Play Store?
Nah, I didn't. You see, that I can explain.
One of 10 different apps that you have built that just went nowhere,
All right,
just dying
so
for localhost,
for those who don't know, my mic is my tester. Like whenever I build
unpaid.
something,
Eh?
I mean, don't worry,
You
bro.
owe
The check
me.
is coming soon.
Yeah,
So
so
usually when I build a small app or something, I usually give Mike just for feedback and just to see how it's working and stuff. So yeah, I did build like a small app just to help me track certain tasks. So I tried to make it minimalistic as possible, but there's a problem. And I feel like it's not just me who faces this problem, Mike, where you build something and then it's around 90% complete. And then
yeah.
you just feel like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what should I do about it? Because the app is working, but you just get to a point where you feel like there's something that's lurking. I don't know if that can also be amounted to depression or something, or what can we put it under?
I think it's mostly imposter syndrome, right?
Mm,
So one thing I've learned is, personally, I build like a lot of cool stuff, right?
mm,
You build a lot of cool stuff. I know a lot of people build a lot of cool stuff, right? Like, check this out, right?
yeah,
And I see it and whatnot, right? And when it's time to deploy, put it like out in the world, people don't do that, right?
yeah, no,
So, for example, the last 2 months, right? I've been trying to, I'm just working on a lot of different websites for clients, right?
mm,
So I experimented a lot, right? And one of my
yeah,
experiments is with the way AI is now, right? How easy is it to build like a simple website for different clients, right?
yeah,
Because a lot of people in Zimbabwe don't have websites for their business, right? And it's just a simple website. There's no logic. It's just nice UI, contact details, call to actions, different things like that, right? High
yeah,
converting website. And this is now way simple with AI, because AI can write your copy. It can like design like the look and feel, right? Just give it an overall concept. Okay, I want this, right? I want modern, minimalistic, whatnot for a logistics company, and it gives
yeah,
that out, right?
mm,
So a key thing is like on measuring conversions, right? I wanted contact forms, easy to put contact forms on all of these websites, right? But at the same
mm,
time, I don't want to be writing logic from scratch, right? So I built a small little contact form service, because
mm,
when I was researching, right, people will charge like $7 to $25 a month for just the contact form, right? And I was like,
mm.
there's no reason to pay for this when I can just build
Nah,
something, right, and deploy it on my VPS, right?
I have a
I
question
built this
follow up.
thing 3 months ago, right?
Mm,
It's on more than 10 websites, and
nice.
this thing works, right? Like the other day, a client asked me to change the email which the responses were being sent to, right? So I just went on the dashboard,
Mm,
and I'm seeing like, oh, yesterday it sent out like 3 emails. The day before it sent out so many emails and whatnot, right? And it's
nice.
impressive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this thing, when I built it and like finished it, right, I was like, it's not good enough to put out there in the public.
Yeah.
But this is something that if I can use it myself, right, and my clients can use it, I can probably put it out in the world, monetize it instead of like $7 a month, do like $4, $5 a month, right? And
Mm.
now imagine like $5 a month by like 100, 200 clients or so. How much are we? And that's like
Bro.
nice passive income. But we don't put things out in the world.
I don't know. I don't know what that can be, because imposter syndrome is quite serious. But I feel like it's a topic that we're gonna have to cover in depth. Like just go through it. Just like what we're doing with the depression topic right now,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's something that every developer faces. Like you build something and then you just don't feel like it's complete, or you just don't feel like it's ready. Yeah, it's hectic, man.
And I think like imposter syndrome actually contributes to like these other heavier mental health challenges, right? Like depression. Because
Mm,
if you feel like you're not good enough, even like your performance wise, right? You're
yeah,
not gonna share things with the world, you're not gonna get validation back. Because like a
exactly.
lot of things is you do something, right? You do a amount of work, you share it with the world, you get validation. That validation makes you feel better,
Mm.
right?
But
So
yeah,
you're even more confident when you do other things, right? Because I see myself as like a average developer, right? Maybe just above average. I'm not like an excellent developer, right? But
yeah,
whenever I do something, because I'm
mm,
like, oh, this thing is nice. It's not great, but it's nice, right? And then I put out in the world, right? And someone on Twitter will come out and comment like, oh, this is great. This is innovative. Oh, you're so smart.
and then you're just
and
looking like what?
and no matter how down I was, right? Like now I feel
Mm,
better, right? So I think
mm,
just putting things out in the world more helps, because you get
mm,
validation.
But
Strangers
also
on the
now,
internet are the kindest people you ever meet.
yeah, Jipa too, right? Like sometimes now it depends on, because most people are afraid of putting things out there because of feedback. Because you're not sure what the kind of feedback you get. Like, if I put this out, what if people roast me and stuff? What if people don't like it? So I think that's another reason why people don't put out things. I mean, I'd say for me and you, we've gotten
Yeah.
used to a point where you like, "Cha, even if it doesn't work, let it go out. Let people give me feedback, then I'll improve, because we're now welcoming the feedback. But if you look at when we first started, it wasn't that easy. You were scared, but shit, if I release this now, I don't know, man. What if? Because I'm a I'm a victim of Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
I once asked a question on Stack Overflow, and I got roasted. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I yeah. So after that,
But Josh,
I got a
I
bit
think
shy.
it's part of learning, right? You're always
Mm,
gonna get roasted,
yeah,
and now the question is, how do you take feedback, right?
exactly now. Hmm.
Because I think like 90% of people, okay, even 95% of people on the internet, right? Even when they
Yeah.
give bad feedback, it's not framed in a negative way, right? It's, oh,
Mm,
I tried out your site and this wasn't working, right?
exactly.
So it's never, oh, this thing is terrible, right? Stack Overflow will do that to you. Stack Overflow will be like, this is such a dumb question. And that is exactly why
Yeah.
they are losing the market to ChatGPT, right? Because it's
No,
easier for me
it
to ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT doesn't judge me. ChatGPT never says this is
doesn't.
a dumb question, right? But I think that getting feedback, whether good or bad, right, is
Mm,
part of life, right? Because you might
exactly.
assume something is great. You know what's that that syndrome where like people overestimate themselves?
Mm, I forgot about it, man.
Yeah, but like uh, a lot of the time, right, you might overestimate how great something is, right? Because I
Yep.
have done things where I'm like, oh, this is so smart, right? Shared with a friend, right? And they're like, oh no, there's actually like a better way to do it. You actually wasted 4 hours of your time. You could have just done this, right? But
Now
like,
imagine.
what I know is when I'm doing the task next time, right? Like I'm not gonna waste 4 hours, right? So that feedback, in as much as like it probably hurts, because I thought I was so smart, right?
Mm,
At the end of the day, it makes me smarter. Because now a lot of developers ask me for advice, right? Oh,
yeah.
how do you do this, right? And they don't realize the reason why I can debug code faster than the average person, right? Is because I have failed. I've written bad code so many times.
Yeah.
So when I see this error, I'm like, oh, this error, I saw it 3 years ago, right? I know
And
exactly what's causing it. Yeah.
yeah.
So the more bad things you put out and the more negative feedback you get, right, the better you become.
Actually, remember the video I sent to you that I made on Monday? The one on failing also. Like, people should be
Yeah.
ready to embrace failing, because that's how you learn. You pick yourself up. Because if you're afraid of doing things, you never learn. You just be stuck on the same position. Like I
Exactly.
used to do it myself. Like, I would set goals, right? But then I would be afraid of those goals, because I'm like, hey, what if I fail? Like, I wasn't afraid. I was afraid of risking things. Like, you know what? I don't want to take a risk, because what if I fail with this risk that I'm taking? So that made me scared to achieve my goals or pursue my goals. But later on, as I figured out, like, you know what? If I fail, I write this down, and then after writing it down, I try another goal. If I fail, I write why I failed, that kind of thing. And now when I do another goal, I now have like strategies. Like, last time I failed because of this, at the time I failed because of this, and that can help you, push through and even avoid those failures. But also, back to our topic, Mike. Like with
Josh, maybe just one more thing, right? Like one of my favorite quotes of all time, right? Fail fast, fail often, fail up,
exactly,
right? And I think the third part of it, the fail up, right? People don't realize
yeah,
this. Um, there's one guy, you should forgive me, right? But I'll mention names.
mm,
Uh, you, you know of Lens Mamondian, right?
I don't know what did you do?
Former CEO of Stuart Bank, CEO of Big ABC.
Nah, I don't know him. Yeah.
I always used to watch that guy, right? Because he was CEO of Stuart Bank, right? I don't know what happened and he got dismissed, right?
Mm,
And next thing is he's MD at Big ABC,
mm,
right?
hectic.
And I don't know what happened. He leaves Big ABC. He's now at a different company, right? And this guy, what I'll tell you is this: is
Mm,
every time he fails, right? He fails at a bigger level.
Yeah.
because he came to Stuart Bank, right? He pioneered like digital banking, people opening up those small little Stuart Bank kiosks, right? People like they were sending agents to open an account for everyone, right? Because
Yeah.
I started at NAS, the very first bank account I had was Stuart Bank,
Mm.
right? But for whatever reason, he failed like at that level, right? But
Yeah.
when you fail at CEO level, right? Bank ABC gets bought up by Atlas Mara, right? Um, they need a new MD, right? And they're like, how many people have experienced it being MD? Very few
Mm-hmm.
people, right?
Yeah.
How many people have experienced being MD at a bank or have actually tried something? And they look at this guy like, this guy might have failed maybe ABCD, right? But
Yeah.
just the sheer thing of like, oh, let me try something new, let me do this, let me do this, right? Obviously, that's a lot of experience that he already has from failure that a lot of people don't
Exactly.
have, right? Because there are these CEOs that play it safe, and in Zim, that's like most CEOs. Most CEOs, they're just like, okay, this has been working for the last 20 years. Let's keep doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
had an issue with my bank the other time, right? Eco Bank. I was told, no, if you need this, you need to come to the branch. I go to a branch. I'm told, no, you need to go to the branch where you opened your account. And I'm like, guys, it's 2025, right?
Yeah.
But this guy goes to Benge BC, right? They pioneer City Hopper.
Mm.
Have you ever used City Hopper? Like I think it was early on during COVID, right? And like
Yeah.
this is like before local remittances were a thing. So if I wanted to send money from Harare to Chile, I'd use like World Remit or your Mkuru or whatnot, right? And these guys come in
Mm-hmm.
like, no, why are you using Mkuru or World Remit, which are foreign services, when we already have the network, right? We already have
Yeah.
like branches all over the country, right? Then they put up kiosks in every pick and pay. So now you
Mm-hmm.
can send money from whatnot, whatnot, right? And based on that, right, your inbox comes in and they're like, oh no, you can also do this with inbox. And now look how big inbox is,
Yeah. 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 Huge.
right? And for some reason still this guy got dismissed as an MD of Peggy. I don't know if he got dismissed or he left, right?
Mm.
But like it just shows you like you work at a higher level. And because of that, like I'm always looking at this guy, I'm like, yeah. Like I need to be more like just take more risks, right? Because even if you fail,
Exactly.
it's never failure because you just keep going. You just move on to the next chapter
Mm-hmm.
and you keep going and you keep going.
But people don't understand that, man, because they think that if you fail, you failed. Plus, I think it's also the fear go to no sick or something, or
Yeah,
people
yeah.
start judging me.
But life keeps moving. Because
That's one.
George,
Mm,
if I ask you right now, right, and I say, tell me like any three people that you know that are failures, do you know anyone?
and no.
There are people that have failed, right?
Yeah.
You see our famous philanthropist and businessman,
Yeah.
right? That guy at some point, he was in jail, right?
Mm,
He came back, he got the tender
yeah.
for the Quadra
You
project,
get.
right? They
Mm,
dismissed that tender, they took him to court for like years and years and years, right? Where is he now? He's chilling with
yeah.
presidents, right? No one
The example
is
you gave, bro.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
even now, right? Even if he fails, right? Even if let's say things go sideways and like they take away his money order, right? What
Yeah.
I can bet you is if that guy ever comes back into the game, he's always gonna like capture something, right? Because that guy, everyone like no, he's shady, he's whatnot, right? He works hard, right? Because
Mm,
those deals do just come up. You don't just wake up and get those deals. He's
mm-hmm.
looking for opportunities left, right, and center. It's like, no, how do I get into this? How do I get into that? How do I get into this,
Yeah.
right?
It's a process, and one thing people don't understand is we work differently, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember me, there was a time when people were saying, "I know George got this on a silver spoon, whatever, and stuff like that." And I'm like, you guys, it's because you've seen me now where I am, and you've seen me now getting these kind of things that I'm getting. But when I was waking up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., writing code,
Exactly.
like staying up like for days writing code, no one saw that. Like no one saw me working in the dark, or no one saw me when I was depressed and stressed that I'm not getting a job. I'm starting to get work. I'm starting to get clients. But now when you start getting clients and things are falling in place, and people will be like, nah, okay, something is up, or like but some things people don't get. Like as much as you're also working right now, because I'm pretty sure someone here is watching this and they're also in a position where they're looking for a job and not getting any. They're looking for clients, not getting clients. It's a process. You can't just jump from you learning how to code right now and then securing a client tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. If it works like that, maybe that's luck. But it's a process, right? Like we all start somewhere. we build from somewhere. You start on the foundation, you do some marketing, you color things around to make sure that you're attracting clients, and you keep building. You don't stop just because you're not getting what you want in life. But yeah, most people don't quite understand that.
I think consistency, is a big thing, right? I'll tell you this, like coming back to like depression and mental settings, right? 2020, right? 2020, I think January
Yeah.
5th, I started working like completely remote, right? Because that time when I was working, like the moment there was the first case of COVID, these guys were like, okay,
Mhm.
just to be safe, everyone just work from home, right? We'll do
Yeah.
updates and whatnot. And I think like more or less like since 2020, I've mostly been working from home, right? And I'll tell you that a few months in, was initially you're like, this is the life, right?
Mm.
Then you start getting a bit complacent because like you're like, oh, I did all my work in 20 minutes. Let me stay in bed and watch series the whole day, right?
Yeah.
And like what happens is over time, even when you want to work, it's not harder to work because you're like, okay, let me just watch one more episode, right? And now
Yeah.
you don't work. Next thing is the next one, right? You need to jump into a sprint and you need to give an update of what you did when you were working, but you were not working.
You're not working.
And like what I found, right, is it became increasingly harder to do work because I had no routine, I had no schedule, right? So the first thing
Mm.
I had to do, like to make sure like my mental health was say like on point, right, is establish some sort of routine, right?
Mm.
Wake up every day, this, make sure my space is clean, I get on my desk, whether I want to work or not, I work, right? I
Yeah.
would obviously build rewards that, okay, if you do 2 hours of work, maybe you get like 30 minutes or an hour of rest. But like with all that routine, it's very, very hard because remember COVID, you were not interacting with people, right? You couldn't go out.
Mm.
I
You
couldn't be like,
couldn't.
no, I'm a bit stressed, so I'm gonna go out clubbing, right? Because there were no clubs. The
Yeah. Big deal.
I remember like the one spot where I used to club, right? Like in the avenues, right?
Mm.
They would ask you to go in, then they would lock you guys inside. So if the cops come through, right, they see the thing is closed.
It's closed there.
So you couldn't just come. You had to know the bounds are outside, right? You're like, oh no
Yeah.
no no, it's
Yeah.
me. Then they're like, okay, cool, jump in. The police come. They're like, no, this thing is closed.
Boys, nikuta duru.
No, but like it was necessary, right? Because like
Big tick.
you've had like months of no contact with people. You're drinking at home.
Yeah.
Ah, so yeah.
Hey, yeah, it's actually, man. I'm just glad people made it out, man. And another thing that I just feel like maybe might be a huge cause for like depression might be like how people build in isolation.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
you know, even at work, you get your tasks and there's no room for like maybe like teamwork or something like that. And even after work, you're working alone on your own personal things. You have no one to talk to, no one to ask for feedback or that kind of thing. You're like, I'll tell you one thing about me. Like, I used to struggle with that until I can tell you right now, my mom knows how to, she doesn't know how to code, but she knows my code. Like, when I was still home in Zim Day, like, I'll on my laptop, like, look, I've made this to do app. It's doing this. My mom will be like, wow, that's amazing. How did you do it? Then I open the code and I'm like, yeah,
You're so
please,
smart.
bro. Like, just like I was thinking about recently. I'm like, wait, she didn't understand code at all, bro. But then
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
always fascinated. Like, I'll show her, like, look, I built it like this, and she would listen. I feel like,
Dude,
and yeah,
one thing about moms, right? Moms are always so excited. I'll tell you, my mom, I'm sure she doesn't know what I do, right? But
yeah,
like, if anyone talks anything about computers, they're like, no, my son knows that. Because I'll tell you this one time,
yeah,
right? This one time, I think I was like, I think just finishing up A level, right?
yeah,
And so my mom is an elder at church, right? And they were
nice.
having this meeting, and they come home, right? It's not just her; it's like her and like three other different elders, right?
Mm.
And they rush in. They're like, "Okay, so we need your help." And as a kid, right? Like when other people come to you, they're like, "You need your help." Like you feel reported. You're like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah.
So what had happened is someone had sent like the wrong audio on the wrong group, right?
Mm.
So there was I think they were trying to do this as a surprise for like a pastor.
Yeah.
Then like so someone there was a group for like elders and like other church leadership without the pastor, right? Then that person
Ooh.
instead of sending it on that group, they send it on the group with the pastor.
Bastards. Now they will
And
know.
that was before WhatsApp had that delete for everyone.
Hey, yeah, yeah,
So the message gets in, the person is offline, and they're like,
yeah.
"How do you delete this message?" Because obviously it's
Before you
sent.
see, yeah, hectic.
And all I know is this crisis, right? And my mom is like, "No,
My son,
my son knows computers. He will help us out. He will help."
did you?
And I'm there like, "No, this is impossible because WhatsApp only added the delete thing like a few years
Yeah,
ago."
yeah. You didn't even
Yeah.
know it's gonna be there.
So now, ultimately, I had to explain. No, once it's sent, as long as he hasn't read it, what you can
Yeah,
do is get someone to get his phone, delete it, and whatnot, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So ultimately
Shit.
they did that, but
Did,
that's one thing about moms. Moms are always super proud of you.
but you know the weirdest thing now is even if you tell them that no, this is impossible, this can be, they'll be like, but like maybe you can, like, isn't there like another way? I'm like, no,
Exactly.
I'm saying it's impossible. Like, I'm like, but come on, I'm telling you, I'm gonna reach out with her. I'm like, no, you can't.
But
It's
but
hectic, man.
but I think now, George, right?
Mm.
Here's the funniest thing. Do you know who's calling me right now?
Yeah, moms,
Do you know who's calling me right now?
that's moms,
My mom is calling.
no, no, cool, bro, you can take it.
She could feel like we're discussing it, huh? She could feel it. What do you mean?
Ndaroseka manje manje ukuthi moms anginofuna mdaruba sonke kona mayijoyina zera because awuthi moms it's a new face bro ukuthi yeah ndawaziya zonke hey nakho nathi umbiki ndirakhula wena wakhula uri kuphi ko no and uzongefoni ukuthi mathi bafone ka she will leave phone like you're on a call she starts talking nomwana river side into they like so ndichikhathe ro
Mira, what Mira.
mawani bro
Yeah. So
and cool
one thing I actually wanted to discuss, right? You mentioned good part of our moms could this is not possible, right? Like it's hard for it to believe it, right? And
yeah yeah
that raises another challenge. One thing I've often seen in tech spaces, right?
yeah
I'll say mainly if you have a non-technical boss, you
yeah
get these feature requests that are either it can be done, but it needs like 2 months, right? When you wants it done in 2 weeks, or it's not even technically feasible, right? So there's like a host of people that view tech like as this black box, right?
yeah yeah yeah
And they just see something that just works. But the children I say they don't care. All they know is it works, right? So
yeah it should
someone will
work.
see Facebook that's maintained by over 500 engineers, and they'll come and be like, George, can you do Facebook for me for $200, right? And
In the WhatsApp.
can you
Yeah.
develop WhatsApp? But izoshi ndine $100, $100, then you do profit sharing. And you ask me like, how does WhatsApp
Big
make
dream.
money? They're like, we just know it makes money. Eh?
Big dreamers, bro.
Yeah. So I think the other thing, right, like on like handling mental health, right, is how do you handle like these outrageous requests, right? So your boss comes to you, they're like, I need this done by end of week, and you know what Joji needs 4 weeks. How do you communicate that? Maybe in your day-to-day life, right, how do you say no to your boss?
I mean, in now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I can stand my ground, but
Yeah.
it wasn't always like that. So one of the big issues now is, let's say, Uchito Munyoan Pabasa, right? It's too new, and you're getting these tasks, Mawombe, and you don't wanna say no. It will take me a month because you still wanna make believe. We don't believe is a man, but then
Exactly.
that's a huge problem now because Wagu, yeah, like I don't know how to
You
put
take
it.
on too much.
Yeah, you're taking on too much, that you can achieve. Yeah, so that can be kind of tricky. So I'd recommend that maybe even if you're still new Pabasa and stuff like that, when you get a task, don't just take it like and say, yeah, give me, I'll do it. Research, break it down, and then you go back to the your project manager or someone who task you. And then now when you're going back, you have resources to tell, what, with the task that you want me to do, I've
Yeah.
broken down into so maybe now do the first phase of it, get it done, we focus on the next phase. And for me to do it all at once, I will not be able to do it all at once. And if it's a task that you can't do, like it's hard, tell them straight up, like, I haven't worked with this before, but with the researches that I've done, I plan on, doing it like this, or I need more time to research it, then I'll be because one thing you don't wanna do at work is lie, because that's you digging your own, grave now, because you're gonna be stuck with that task. It's gonna stress you. You're gonna be depressed because time is moving. Deadlines are now approaching, and now stress is piling up because you wanna deliver something, but you can't. But communication is always key, man. If you
Yeah.
communicate, you research well, then yeah, it'll be good.
I think when you say communicate, right? I think it's a trait some developers don't have, because
Yeah,
it's going to go out. The problem is not in saying no. The problem is how you communicate that no, right? Because there's a difference between I can't do this,
mm,
or actually explaining no, this can't be done for reasons A, B, C, D. So like,
exactly.
I know a few years back, I was mentoring a few kids like at my old workplace, right? And one thing
Mm,
that would always happen is that there would be a task, right? This needs to be done. The boss brings it
yeah,
in my desk. They're like, Mike, can you do this, right? I'm like, yes, but I'm currently also working on this. So if you need this done, you need to tell me which one is
mm,
priority, right? Because I can't do both.
yeah,
The boss
exactly.
realizes that I've said no, like in a smart way. So they take it to one of my juniors and they're like,
Mhm.
no, you need to do this. That kid can't say no, so he ends up taking both the tasks, right? And um, obviously because I think one was a GT, two of them were attaches, right?
Mm.
They haven't learned how to say no, and they're also afraid that if I say no, what happens, right? Was
The
if I say no,
reaction now,
maybe I'll get fired, maybe this is right. And I had to teach them that no, you can say no as long as you properly explain, right? You explain no, you're saying this needs to be done in 6 weeks, but I've never done it, right? So
yeah,
maybe give me a bit more time, or maybe let me go do research first. Let me consult with the senior, then I'll come back to you. Because
exactly,
the other thing is like anytime you need to estimate timelines, right? Never rush. Don't estimate
exactly.
things off the bat unless you're 100% sure. You'd rather say,
Ramba. Mm.
let me go research. Yeah, then I'll come back. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll tell you. Yeah.
Mhm. Because probably when you enter people and they want to estimate on the spot. Like, nah, looking at this, maybe like 2 3 days. But now when you say that, that person is gonna hold you to it, like, okay, so cool. But if you even if it's a small task, because now you realize that it's a small task, but then now you have to do some integration. Let's say, for example, Mike,
Yeah.
you need to do form that details from people, right? And then uh, as you're building that form, you're realizing like, oh wait, actually, I need to connect this to the backend, and I need to build some other model, or I need to add like middlewares, that kind of thing. And then you know what? I'll do it in a day. Just a form, just 1 day. But now you're realizing that there's more work that needs to be done. And now, what holds them on? I know this will take me a day. Now for you to go back, money. So what people don't understand, like especially developers, is it's more than code. What we do, there's a business process also. So your project manager is gonna tell one my shareholders or other guys
Exactly. Yeah.
to say, guys, my developer said this will be done in a day. And then you know those guys are expecting that kind of feedback, and now we were realizing what you messed up, and that's when people get scared now because they're like, shit. The project manager
Pressure.
said that. Mhm. So now you're working overtime just because you didn't lie. The form you can do it in a day, but then there are things that you didn't research. So as much as we are developers, like you gotta understand also the business logic of things, but also deadlines, do research, and when you do research, make sure that quicker way also just to give an answer, and also when you're giving deadlines or whatever, give ranges, like this will take maybe between 2 to 3 days, and also accommodate for failures and tests.
Exactly. I think like I recently learned that I had a project, right? And what came through was a very simple request, right? Oh, we need the ability to be
Mm,
able to do this, right? And luckily,
yeah.
I didn't give them an estimate. They were like, how long do you think it would take, right? Then I was like, no, let me go research on it. Then I'll give you an update.
Mm,
Then maybe we can do a review in 2 weeks' time,
yeah.
right? When I opened up my code base,
Mm,
because now with the beauty of AI, I opened up my code base. I put a tab in cursor, right? Switch it from agent to ask. And I'm like,
mm,
okay, we want to implement this, right? Walk me through the different considerations, look at the code base
yeah.
and whatnot, right? And KSR
Mm,
finds like this
nice.
weak spot, right? Where like, okay, the implementation we're trying to do with the current database structure, it doesn't work. So you need to like
Yeah.
redo like the database structure and whatnot and add in something, right?
Ye-
And I realized like
Yeah.
this thing that looks quite simple, that there's like a 2-3 day change, right? It's actually
Yeah.
like at least 2 weeks. Because now I need to change the database structure, make sure migrations are on point,
Running. Yeah.
make that change, do some back testing
Mm.
with the existing data, right? And like you
Because you
can't
want to lose
just
existing data.
exactly. But if I had communicated to client like this is easy, because it sounded easy, I was like this is easy, then I was gonna be in
Yeah.
trouble. But yeah,
But at least you did communicate. Yeah.
yeah. Josh, maybe like as we're talking about these different strategies, right? Like just cope, right?
Mm.
Have you ever tried medication?
No. I haven't.
What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I, yeah, I don't want to lie, but it's not something that I've quite thought of. Like, I know there are medication that you can take when you're depressed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I even know like some relatives or some friends who take them. But for me, I try to do it the natural way just because I know that, I mean, it just, I put it in a way, I don't know, like an aspiring dev when I was learning how to code or whatever. Those methods working for me and something that I've been, consistent with, and it helps from time to time, when I'm doing it. Medication wise, I have an uncle of mine who's always, he's against medication. So he's always telling me that, you know what, if something can be solved without medication, please go for that, other
Exactly.
alternative than for you to be hooked on medication.
I'll give you two stories, right?
Yeah.
Initially, the medication I used to cope with depression. Do you know what medication I used to use?
Zombies.
Yeah, that's the reason why when I'm drinking water, like I have to like use a clear bottle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people might assume no, what else like
Yeah.
drinking, huh? Yeah. So like
Hectic.
for me, right? Like I'll know like if I get stressed, right? Two
Yeah.
things. One, there was like go out and drink. Then there was drink while working,
Mm.
right? Because like there's
Yeah.
that. I'm a big believer in Boma speak. You know Boma speak, right?
I know you're always talking about it.
Yeah, like your productivity goes up like
Yeah.
with a certain dosage of alcohol, right? Like so, for me personally, it's like 4 beers. I'm productive.
Mm.
When I go to the fifth and sixth beer, I'm drunk, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beers, like my productivity as a developer goes up. But the
Hmm.
problem now is you can't be using that every time you're like, oh, there's stress, there's a deadline coming up,
Yeah. Yeah. It
and you
leads
like
somewhere.
take out a 6 week, right? It doesn't
Mm.
work, right?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I think that like if you do not need medication, do not right try and cope without medication. I think there are a lot of different things. Like I find
Yeah.
physical exercise very helpful. Like
Mm.
I always try and like go out running like three days a week. I do 10Ks, right? Because
Nice.
it relaxes my brain. It re-energizes my body. So like one thing is if
Exactly.
you're always sitting behind a desk like this, it's hard for like the chemicals in your body to like misfire and like be like, oh, okay, I think we're down, right?
Hmm.
Because you're not moving, you're not like, interacting with a lot of people, and that's a problem. Right? So if you don't need medication, don't do it. But at the same time, I would say that there are some people who need medication because I know 1 or 2 people who actually medicate. Right? Some it's
Mm.
just supplements, some it's like over the counter stuff. Sorry, not over the counter stuff. It's prescribed stuff, right? But there
Yeah.
is no way you're gonna know if you need medication without actually talking to a professional.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so I'd
Mm.
say if you feel like no exercise is not helping, like I've tried like meditation, it's not helping. Like I've tried communication, I've tried like restructuring, I've tried talking to someone. Then maybe the next thing is like, okay, go talk to someone, go talk to an actual professional. Was in a George told on our podcast, because that
Exactly.
guys do this, but we are not professionals, guys.
Yeah.
If you get
No,
depressed,
we're not. We're just
yeah.
good guys with mics.
If you see, because there's this thing called high functioning depression, right? And I think it's the
Mm.
worst form that there is. So high functioning depression means someone presents as normal. So we can be interacting right now, right? And
Yeah.
when you interact with other people, you seem fine, right? But probably like when you turn off the cameras, you go back to your place and you're all alone, right? The depression
Hmm.
sets in, and I think that's what happens to like a lot of techies. You see them in public spaces, right? They're all good.
Yeah.
I see some of these guys drunk, and you go, okay, I think there's a problem. I think there's a crack somewhere. But when these people are out in the interaction, right, they're all happy and whatnot. So
Mm.
if someone sees probably, oh, I think when I'm alone, I get depressed or I'm feeling down, and it's a recurring thing, right? Maybe the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
thing is, okay, can I see a doctor? Um, I know Friendship Bench. Um,
yeah.
they should be in Avondale, one place, right? And they offer those services for free. You can just go talk to someone, and yeah. And if you need more professional help, like book a session with your doctor, go to like one of the mental health centers. I think that also
Exactly.
works.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the best thing that you can do for yourself, accepting that you are depressed, right? If you try to hold it and say, I just there's some stress, whatever, and you're not dealing with it, the more you keep bottling it in, it becomes worse. It doesn't get better. It becomes worse.
Yeah.
So as soon as you realize, like, yo, actually, I'm getting some stress from this work, or I'm getting like burned out or something, then it's time for you to go somewhere, look for help, and then first you can try the methods because online I'm pretty sure there are several ways. You can you know try to relax or clear your mind and stuff like that. But if it's not working, then you're gonna have to see someone physically. Um, Maybe if you're open with your family members, you can find someone who you're close to where you can talk to them and tell them like,
African
yeah,
family.
yeah,
African
I
family.
know.
Yeah.
I saw a video, my this guy who told his mom that I'm depressed. And then the mom came back later, like, hey, multi depression, where you
Hey,
know.
you're depression, you. Because you're I think
Yeah, so,
I think they see that stigma, but if
yeah,
you have someone like in your family that you can talk to, yeah,
mm,
do that. If you
that'll be
have
better.
like a friend, I find friends more approachable, but
Mhm.
obviously family, in most cases, people who really know you.
Exactly. And I feel like, hey, I don't know, man. I don't know if I've placed my little sister, under something because with my little sister, she's really, really young. She's 12 now. And I used to take her for walks, usually because when I was working from home, sometimes when you're stressed and stuff, when she's back from school, then I take her for a walk. And then when we go for a walk, right, that's when I talk to her and tell her, like, hey, because she'll ask me, George, how was your day? And I'm like, hey, so I'm building this, this, this. And you know what made me, because as I'm talking about something, it's more like I'm clearing my mind. So she would ask follow-up questions, like she wouldn't understand anything, but me just talking about it would be like, oh, actually, this work helped, and me talking about it out loud just really helped. But the most efficient way for me that has really helped me a lot is just going out, like leave my laptop, leave my phone, and just go out, like just be in the world, that kind of thing. It has really helped me out a lot because I get to forget about what's stressing me, what's going on, and when I come back, I have a new perspective, and I can easily tackle whatever was going on. So there's that, and also there's just calling somebody, like I have a friend of mine, Sean. I used to call him like, "Yo, Sean, what's up, man? What's going on?" And then we just talk about something random, or I can even tell him what's going on. And sometimes he'd laugh at me like, dude, you're being stressed by JavaScript. I'm being stressed by this." So now you're just laughing at each other. But then that also helps because that laughing distracts you from the main problems that you have. You know, so it helped out a lot. Man.
Yeah. George, you
Yeah,
you you talk about leaving your phone at home, right?
yeah,
Have you heard of the term brain rot?
yeah, dude. That's why I don't have my TikTok notifications turned on,
Yeah.
Instagram notifications turned on. Yeah.
I think that's like the other like very very serious thing, right? That we're like
Mm.
overlooking. Um, I remember some point during 2018 thereabouts, right? When like there was a whole thing with Instagram about this study that was done about like the effect of Instagram, like especially on young kids, right? And you see like the EU Parliament, they're trying to ban social media usage for kids and whatnot, right? And even if you look at the big billionaires, Anana Bill Gates, Anana Mark Wajo, Anana Chichi, right? They don't allow their kids to like use social media or like they limit screen time, right? Then there's
Mm.
us, and you're like, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok, oh
You
X,
can't go
right?
like 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Exactly.
I think that like is a big issue. Like social media is causing some sort of decline because
Mm.
we consume more than we create, right?
Exactly.
And uh, I'm going to shift a bit, sir.
Mm.
Go philosophical. I think
Yeah.
human beings, right, are meant to create,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's in our inherent nature to like create things, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you code up something, George, and you look at it, you're like, ah, this is good, right? It's it's a godlike power because God created the world, right? And he looked at it and was like, yeah, this was good.
Yeah.
Then he said unto me like, be fruitful, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can look at that as like God and have kids, right? God and have like a lot of babies,
Yeah.
right? But it's also like fruitful is like producing fruit, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's my personal take on it, right? But like it just says we are meant to produce,
Mm-hmm.
we're meant to create, right? So like
Yeah.
if you go on your TikTok and you're just consuming stuff, consuming, right? What is that? Like you're just consuming stuff, you're not creating stuff, and like I think that drains you.
Exactly. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Mm.
Obviously, there's the other thing about like imbalances about or like your 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 different hormones like just like it floods like different places centers of the brain, right? Was it's oh I saw this video and it's funny, haha. But you didn't put
Yeah. Yeah.
in any effort into that, right? Or I saw
Nope.
this and it sounds so smart, but you haven't put in any actual work into it, and you're hooked on that easy fix because like no more times if you actually wanna like get a good laugh, right, or like say
Yeah.
or get some insight, right, you actually need to go out, talk to your
Yeah.
friend, right, like what are you doing now, because at some point you're like, oh, this makes sense, but it's in actual conversation. It's not like you just took out your phone and you saw this video
Exactly.
about Trevor Noah and you're like, oh, this guy is so smart or this guy is so funny. Yeah.
Mm. I don't. You need to hang up a break like for the I think 5 seconds there.
Oh. No, it's good. But yeah, I was just talking about like already. I think like brain rot is very, very dangerous. We need to limit screen time,
Yeah.
especially like, take time to just go out, leave your phone at home, or just keep your phone in your pocket. Disable
Yeah.
notifications.
And actually, if
Cause
one of my city what city was mentors actually, is a
yeah,
CTO, and this guy, you can only reach out to him during work hours. After work hours, when with his
as it
family,
should be.
yeah,
Yeah.
when he's with his family, you can't reach out unless
Yeah.
maybe like it's on weekends when you do like an actual call, like WhatsApp, and you keep the calls short. You can ask for advice, and then he gives you. But then sometimes if you want to do a meetup, yeah, you ask to come to his place or you meet somewhere, and then you discuss. And even when you discuss, no laptops, Mike, you'll be like, no, don't bring your laptops. Because
Yeah.
last time I brought a laptop, it is an offense. It's like, no, mm-mm, I don't like laptops here. If you're gonna come to me and talk, let's talk. I don't want you to come with a problem and say, I'm struggling with this line of code here. No, tell me what's wrong, and then I can give you an advice. Like, look at these methods, look at this structure of code, whatever. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's nice because I mean, what he believes in is, he spends almost like 8 hours at work on his screen, on his laptop, and in meetings and stuff. And after that, he just wants to rest, like forget about everything, like be with his family, maybe watch TV with his family, but at least
Yeah.
it's far away from, mobile devices and laptops, which is something I wish I could do, but
No,
yeah, I mean,
you can. I'll give you one trick I use with my old boss, right? So this guy, the thing of like just calling you maybe like 5:30, and my thing was like no, between 8 and 5, right? hundred
mm,
percent attention. If that team's sound goes off, right? It's depressing
yeah,
as hell. But if that team sound goes off, I'm picking up, right?
exactly.
But like after 5, we were not doing that, right? So one thing I'd always do is if he called me after 5, right? My number
Yeah.
one response was, "Sorry, I'm in traffic. I can't talk right now. Can you send a message?"
Will you be in
Right?
traffic?
I'll respond to you when I'm home. Can you send a message, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
do that. He sends his message, right? It's like half 5. He sends his message. I'll look at his message, right? We're like, oh, is this actually agent, right? If it's not
Mm,
agent, I wait about an hour, right?
yeah.
Then I respond, oh, I just got home. The traffic was hectic, but right now I don't have
Yeah,
power, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
oh, I'm not directly telling him no, but over time he gets used to
Yeah.
the idea that like every time I try telling him to do something after hours, right, he's not
Mm,
available. But he always knows like
exactly.
if that thing is urgent, I'll get it done. So
Yeah,
I'm still
exactly. Yeah.
reliable, but he knows like no,
You're
after 5,
prioritizing your
like
time, yeah.
yeah,
Hectic. That's right. Like the way 1 minute. I'm just gonna carry my things with uyu side as well because Kamuji, she wants to.
ndarotite wrap up, ndarotite wrap up.
I swear we can do it
So
now.
what?
Then the
What
information.
takora? What did I wrap up?
At least do wrap up because I was thinking that we can even do part two of this thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So I think our time is running out because we planned for like an hour on this, and we're like nearing that, right?
Nah. We planned for 20 minutes, Mike. We said I said 45 minutes. And then Mike was like, George, that might be too much. Let's do 20. And I'm like,
No.
it's okay, there.
Thing is, like some of these conversations, right? We're watching 20 minutes because like you want to put everything compact, right? But it's
Yeah.
going on like a lot of the actual good stuff, like the actual advice, right? It's stuck in like these conversations, like these
Hmm.
like just conversations you have on the side, right? But, yeah,
Exactly.
Nana mom, right? You realize, oh, actually, like this
Yeah.
helps. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to try to pursue and do part two, or maybe even do like a whole series on this. Like maybe on Sundays we record those kind of sessions, and then
yeah.
yeah, we drop them off as like small series and stuff like that. But definitely there's more content coming, guys.
I think maybe now, like, I don't know, like, I think I'll just like ask the audience, right? Like, if you deal with something, right? Like, you want to share about it, or if you have like different strategies that work for you. Was I think we discussed a lot here, like
Mm.
how to say no, like how to like break down your work, how to communicate, exercise, medication, and like it wasn't structured, so you probably need to listen to everything to hear it. But like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
have other
yeah.
things that work for you, right? Like just put it out in the comments, right? I think we really need to read on it because as I said, I my professional is also. But like I think we can actually read on some of these things and like maybe discuss it on the part two. Does that work, George?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So make sure you
But
leave some comments and what you want to hear, and also how you deal also with depression from your side. We'd love to hear how you're tackling this.
yeah. And for the record, guys, me and George are like the same skin tone. Could I guess a ring light, so it looks light.
Ah, hey, Mike, we can do behind the scenes, bro.
I'm using natural sunlight, guys. I'm using natural sunlight, huh? Yeah.
Aiwa, aiwa. Well, Riga.
Uh, George, you about anaita makeup, akazido, chipeka head, chipeka chakoti, and I'm here looking
I'm waiting
scruffy.
for it because Mike, I don't know, come soro, I don't question mazino mdara. I don't know that
Guys,
I've believed this.
look at my hair, guys. Look at my hair. It's yeah. I
Aiwa.
definitely need a haircut. Next episode, I'll have like a fresh cut.
And I'm not gonna show people my hair. My hair is messed up, so I'm still bad Zavano, bro.
Nah, it's cool. But anyways, George, thanks so much. I think let's do this next
Yeah.
week. Yeah, and then since like this is the very first episode, right? If you have any other topics you want to hear about, just like leave them in the comments. We'll be reading through, and yeah, let's have more of these conversations, guys.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like.
All right, man. Cheers. Huh?
All right, Mike, thanks, bro.
All right.